Hi, everyone, and welcome to Wise Woman Healing. I've been gone for a while, and here's what happened. On November 25th, my husband was admitted to the hospital because he fell. It wasn't a bad fall, but we found an underlying medical concern that needed to be addressed, and he ended up in the hospital for a month. And then he was sent to a physical rehabilitation center, and that was another several weeks um, while I recuperated from being in the hospital because I had a gallbladder attack at the end of December, beginning of January. And I'll tell you what, I never in a million years would have thought that I would have been in the hospital for gallbladder surgery, like ever. And what happened was, for a week or two before I went in for surgery, I had what I thought was food poisoning because my husband was in this care facility. It was a senior living facility because he wasn't physically able to go up the stairs to our house. So he had to go into the care facility to strengthen up, which was a joke because it was during the holidays and there were really a lot of PT and OT people there to work with him. So he just kind of sat there getting weaker every day, and that was really annoying for me and him that he's here in the facility trying to get better. And of course, it's the holidays, so everybody has their time off, and of course they need that. But he could have been home sooner. He could have been home sooner if they were more aggressive with treatment. But anyway, so I went in. I thought I went in on Monday, the 30th, and then I got out the following Monday or Tuesday. I don't know, because I was hopped up on some really great drugs. Anyway, so I went in, and the hospital that I was in, it's a progressive hospital without any affiliation to a saint. So we have two hospitals in town. One is a saint hospital, Catholic hospital, and one is just a secular hospital full of witches. Full of witches, because you can tell, they all had their little tattoos and symbols and things. And I thought, oh gosh, if I was more coherent, I could talk to them about folk healing in the Bible. And I tried to talk to one person a little bit, but it was a very short conversation. It's okay. You can only do what you can do. But they took such good care of me in the hospital. The only thing that was really frustrating was I told them I'm allergic to everything. Everything, I told them I have hives and stomach issues, but I didn't. It'd been so long since I'd taken anything that I forgot what all my symptoms were. So, I was spiking a fever. My blood pressure was through the roof because of the pain. And when I say through the roof, it was like 211 over something. And they were like, oh my gosh, you have to get your blood pressure down, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it's never been that high. I mean, even I wouldn't let my blood pressure get to 200 if, I could help it. So, when I, prior to, it's so funny the questions that they ask you, because I went to an emergency care because I thought it was food poisoning. And they're like, we can't help you. So $300 later, they're kicking me out, and my friend is driving me to the emergency room. I should have called an ambulance, and then I would have just been to the hospital sooner and gotten stuff done. So my friend takes me to the emergency room, and they're like, yeah, it's your gallbladder. I'm like, are you kidding me? How is this not food poisoning? Because I had started vomiting at the house in the emergency care. And they're like, well, what made you finally decide to come in? And I said, well, the pain was unbearable and I started vomiting. Oh, okay. And so then after the surgery, because, they given me acetaminophen for the fever. That makes me sick. So they pushed it through the IV. They gave me some Benadryl, then they gave me the liquid acetaminophen to bring it was Tylenol. I'm sorry. I tried not to say the brand name. It was Tylenol. I think it's acetaminophen. Anyway, so they pushed that through the IV, and I think the Benadryl helped. But then, I was vomiting the whole time. Then after the surgery, because, then they give you antibiotics and they give you, the anesthesia and everything. So I kept spiking a fever. And it's like, all of a sudden, the nurses and the doctors, when they come in, they're wearing PPE gear. And I'm like, why are you wearing that? What's wrong with me? Oh my God, my patient zero. What's going on? Well, no, we just have to make sure that you don't have anything viral because you're vomiting and running a fever. Allergic reaction. Well, yeah, but we have to make sure that it's not this, that, or the other thing. And I'm like, allergic reaction. I'm having an allergic reaction. You're pumping. Like, I don't take any meds ever. Like, I have an ulcer, so I can't take aspirin. If I'm really, really desperate and when I injured my knee in 2023, September of 2023, I did take some aspirin, but I could only take it for like a week or less because it started acting up my ulcer. And so of course I'm sitting here going, oh, of course I'm having an allergic reaction. So they took and they put, imagine this is like a big ice pack. They have these ice packs and they put them on your arteries. Okay. And then under your arms and then in your groin, between your legs and your groin, so that your arteries are cooling down and bringing that cold sensation to the rest of your body so that you can cool down. Because they're like, I said, if you have to give me acetaminophen, go ahead. I mean, I don't want to boil because of a fever. But we managed to get it down. And so basically I've just been recuperating for the entire month of January. They did the surgery laparoscopically, and I didn't know this, but they said, "Oh, we're gonna get a little drawstring bag." Okay, I'm going to describe the surgery to you. If you're sensitive, you might want to fast forward a few minutes. Drawstring bag, and we have to peel your gallbladder off your liver, which I had no idea. I knew it was in that area, but I didn't know it was attached to the liver. For some reason, I didn't know that. So then they drop it in this little drawstring bag because your gallbladder and your pancreas aren't solid like your liver, kidneys, lungs, heart, that sort of thing. They're kind of like gelatinous, it's weird. They're squishy. So they drop it in the drawstring bag so that it doesn't fall apart or get stuff anywhere. And then they close it up and they remove it and everything. So what happened was I had a gallstone stuck in a bile duct and so much pain. So if I was not in pain, I would have tried to do something myself, but tears and vomiting and just agony. It was horrible. So that happened. Yeah. So, and then while my husband was in the hospital, there was deliberate design obsolescence in our internet router. We have landline internet and not Wi-Fi. And so the internet went out. And my husband is the tech guy in our house. I'm not. Not technical. And so I couldn't post any videos or do anything. And then, of course, I was in the hospital for a week. And then I was at home by myself trying to recover. I'll tell you what, America really needs to do better so we've spent decades separating ourselves from each other, especially during the lockdowns, and community has really deteriorated. That's how the enemy wins, is through disunity. We must come back together as a community. We must be united, or the dark forces will win. Okay, there's nothing that the enemy hates more than unity. Well, there are, but unity is it's up there. When people come together and they're praying together, they're fighting back like we did during the election, when we're coming together as a community and we're saying enough with this stuff that's going on. We are not going to sit in the dark in fear anymore. We're going to come together. And so I want to encourage you to start praying again if your prayer life has kind of tapered off. Mine had. And I didn't realize, like, I have had digestive issues for decades. And I didn't realize that that could be attributed to a dodgy gallbladder. Because I'm sitting here talking to the doctors. I'm like, this. Oh, yeah, it's probably been going on for years. And I'm like, oh, decades. Like, probably my entire life, I've had digestive issues and haven't been able to do whatever. But anyway, so that happened and it was horrible. But I lived through it. I met some really nice people. There were a lot of new people. One of the nurse techs, well, not a nurse tech, she's just a technician. Not even a nurse. And she was such a sweetheart. She took such good care of me. And just a really good crew of people. And but every female physician's assistant that I encountered, whether they were working with my husband or me, nasty, rude people. And I'm sitting here going, like, why are you like this? If your job is that stressful that you can't be civil to patients and their family, you are in the wrong line of work. Like, you need to go work by yourself somewhere where people aren't asking you questions and talking to you, because some of these women got really rude. I was shocked. But anyway, it's over now. And I have, did I see my brain is like from all the drugs, but I think I said they went in laparoscopically, thank God. I didn't have to get cut open from stem to stern. And so I have to have like 4 or 5 holes in my stomach and a divot where my gallbladder used to fill out that area. So yeah, I went into the emergency room and I was jaundice because my liver was angry and I had pancreatitis. My pancreas was angry from that one gallbladder. Oy vey. Okay, so all of that's done. That's the update. Back to videos. I know I had taken my channel down for a while. I had, this time I did not delete the videos. I've done this before in the past and I deleted the videos and then I regretted it because I'm like, oh, I wish I had that information and whatever. But this time I just made them private because I'm always thinking about whether or not this is something that I want to continue to do. And I do have a friend that is encouraging me to keep going in this endeavor. So it's nice to have that encouragement because I do concern myself with things like before. So I called a friend of mine to come get me, to take me to the emergency room. And while I was waiting for her to arrive, I gathered up a lot of stuff and I threw it out because I knew that there would be people in my house and I just wasn't comfortable running the risk of them finding things. So I threw out some books and some decks of cards and things. And I really, I have really struggled with that. Like, should I, shouldn't I, shouldn't I? And I think that I'm just going to stick to the folk healing aspects of things and not go off into the weeds like I had started to do. And some of those last videos, you can see what I was talking about and what I was getting into. And it's fine if that's where your path is taking you. And, there was a lot of good and beautiful information that I was reading and discovering. And I decided, even though this is good and beautiful information, it is deviating from what I believe in, which is doing this through the Holy Trinity. And in one book in particular, they started, talking a lot about gods and goddesses and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's not for me. Even reading it as research just to see what other people are doing, that's not my cup of tea. That's just, I just want to stick with my tried and true things. And to that end, the Old Farmer's Almanac for 2025 I want to talk about the Zodiac Man. And so now we're in 15 minutes for this video, and we're probably going to go for another 10 or 15 minutes of me just talking at you. So if you're still with me, thank you. Please like and subscribe and help this channel to grow. And I didn't have insurance, so I'm going to have a ton of medical debt from surgery and being in the hospital for a while. So please like and subscribe and help this channel grow. I'm probably going to need a check from YouTube to help pay for this. But actually, what I do believe is that the Lord provides. And oops, I'm so sorry for the wobbles. I'm not going to worry about it. There are plenty of, and I'm not going to get a job. People out there are talking about, pray for money and go get a job. If I'm going to go get a job, why am I praying for money? It seems counterintuitive. And we've talked about this before. I've talked about it in other videos where if you're going to trust in the Lord, then trust in the Lord. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. So let's talk about the moon phase and moon cycle that we're in right now. We just had a new moon on the 29th of January, and I'm looking at the calendar on my PC. Today is the 31st. So from the full moon to the new moon, we're always in a waning cycle because the moon is diminishing until it gets dark on the new moon. And then it starts to wax or grow larger from the new moon to the full moon, which will be on February 12th. So 2 days before Valentine's Day, we will have a full moon. So we're in a waxing moon cycle, which means we are increasing, okay? So in the Farmer's Almanac, this is the old Farmer's Almanac, there is something called the Zodiac Man. And you can see the picture that I put up. The Zodiac Man, so let's read from what they talk about. Ancient astrologers believed that each astrological sign of the zodiac influenced a specific part of the body, e.g. the sign of the feet, the sign of the knees, the sign of the head, etc. The man of signs was created to represent this belief visually. So what does that mean? So as you see from the Zodiac Man picture on your screen, it goes from the head down to the feet, and it goes Aries is the head, Taurus is the neck, Gemini are the arms, Cancer is the breasts, Leo is the heart, Virgo is the belly, Libra is the reins or kidneys, Scorpio, it says secrets, but what that means is genitals, Sagittarius is thighs, Capricorn is knees, and Aquarius is legs, meaning the calf muscles, and Pisces is feet. All right. So when we talk about trying for someone, when we talk about doing workings for people, what we're doing is there's a calendar. Okay. So this is a lesson in folk healing. Okay. So we have this calendar, and I know it's hard to read, but I will take a picture of it and I'll put it up on the video in a big screen. And so it goes down like, so we're going to go, today's January 31st. So we would be doing Pisces, which are the feet. Okay. So if you had a client that came to you and maybe they had a broken toe, or maybe they poured hot water on their foot accidentally, and they're coming to you for a burn healing or a toe healing, it would be a good time to do the burn healing. Like, you can do a healing at any time, but for extra oomph, for extra power, for extra strength, if you do something during the proper moon cycle, it'll be that much better. Okay. And so then February 1st is still Pisces, because sometimes, the moon doesn't zip through the zodiacs quickly. It'll linger sometimes for 2 or 3 days and nights in a particular sign. So you can work on the feet for a couple days. Then on the 2nd and 3rd of February, it's Aries, which is the head because it goes back up. So you start with the head and go down the feet and go back up. It's just a cycle. Everything's a cycle. Everything renews. Then on the 4th and 5th, it's Taurus, which is the neck. Stiff-necked, stubborn, strong-willed. It's the neck. Then on the 6th and 7th, Gemini are the arms. And on and on and on. So it's always a cyclical thing. And then for seeing what moon cycle we're in, I like to go to the moon phase calendar. Okay, I'm sure they have something in here on paper for the moon cycles. There's also astrology books that you can buy and astronomy books about that. Also, astrology, they have, an astrology in this book, they have best days for 2025 for quitting smoking, for baking, for brewing, for drying fruit, vegetables, or meat, for making jams or jellies. So you can effectively manage your life by the moon cycles if you need help. And I don't mean that in a derogatory or mean way, but if you're sitting there and you're like, I would like to live with purpose. And if for some reason you're canning something and it's not turning out, look and see if you should have been doing it on that day. Let's take a look, because maybe you should try it and see if anything changes, if anything improves. Has the tide corrections. If you live somewhere where there's tidal planes, they also have planting by the moon's phase, and they have the zones and everything. This is just such a good book. Okay, so let's take a look. If you are canning, so in January it was the 3rd through the 5th, and then you don't can again until the 31st, making jams or jellies. So then in February, it's the 1st, the 27th, and the 28th. Now, if you're canning, pickling, or making sauerkraut, you want to do it February 18th and 19th, or March 17th through 19th. If you want to begin to diet and lose weight, they have that. If you want to diet to gain weight, they have that. How to cut your hair to encourage growth, like on which moon cycle do you cut your hair to encourage growth? To color your hair, to perm your hair, to straighten your hair, to have dental care, to start projects, to end projects, to wash windows. I need to wash my windows. I bought stuff to wash my windows, and we had a cold snap. And we're going to have a warm up here, locked in the house for weeks because of the cold snap and the snow and the healing and everything. And I'm just like, I need to get out of the house a little bit. But so I have window washing equipment. I'm going to wash my windows. I haven't washed them in a while because the birds run into them and then they break their little necks. We get songbirds in the springtime, but my windows desperately need to be washed. It's really bad. I might have to get that tape that you put on your windows to protect the birds from running into your windows. I don't know. It's a lot to think about, because I certainly don't want to hurt the little creatures. So now I'm babbling, and that's it. Do you have any questions? Put them in the comments. Also, it's been a kind of a rough start to the year. Please let me know how you're doing in comments. If you want to, let me know where you're from. Let me know how I can pray for you. There's a lot going on. And even if you voted for the other guy, I'm still happy that you're here. I'm still happy that you're alive and kicking, and it's a new year, and let's make 2025 the best year we can make it. Let's be kind to one another. Doesn't matter how people voted, be kind to people, because that's how you defeat the enemy, is through showing people the love of Christ and being merciful. And my goodness, America needs to really change the direction that we're going in and be kind to one another. You can still have your opinions. You can still have your beliefs. Just don't be nasty about it. silence, be silent. And, because when you have a debate with someone, all they're doing is waiting for you to stop talking so that they can start talking. So what's the point? That's the point. And a lot of times in these last few weeks, I'm in a hospital full of witches. So I'm biting my tongue, very liberal. All these young people are very liberal and they have no anchor in their life. And I talk to them all. Some of them have good anchors. They have family. Some of them are kind of drifting around, not sure about life and anything. And, Lord have mercy on the young people, especially those without family, especially those without a church. The world has really sold these kids a bill of goods, and it's sad to see how that has turned out. So, anyway, I didn't mean to get heavy there at the end. That's it. That's all I have. May the Lord bless you and keep you and make his light to shine upon you, now and ever unto the ages of ages. Amen. Lord, have mercy on us all. Thanks, guys. Bye.